I mean, have you seen the new cinematics? Do you want to?
Do I want to? Tell me.
No, I've already watched them, so it's no big deal.
Yeah, can I see?
Okay. Like, do you want to watch them?
I do want to watch them, actually, because I haven't seen them.
Okay, so
I've
there are
been kind
two.
of saving myself.
Well, the red bot spoiler bot is up, right? So it's perfect. There are 2 from the dungeon itself, and then there's 2 epilogue ones, which are super interesting as well. I will put them on for you. All right, so here is this one happens after you kill. So Iridikron is like the middle boss of the final boss of like the first wing, right?
First.
And you beat him, and this happens. Okay.
Here goes nothing! Yes! We did it! No Stormo?
Stormo is gone. Only Murazond remains.
No. I won't give up on you.
And then the dungeon like rewinds, and you're doing it all again. But like different.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And so the second half, I've seen this already several times. It cuts out. Oh, so you haven't seen it in game properly? Oh. Wow, that sucks. And then this is the thing that plays when you complete the dungeon.
Okay, let's see it.
These are so good, by the way. I love them so much.
I'm really digging them.
We did it! Our future is secured!
Tell me, little one, have you ever questioned why the Titans preserve this timeline?
The Titans safeguard our world from monsters like you!
Your faith means nothing to them. As you burn in the flames of my brother's wrath, they will not come. All they wanted was our world. With this, the Harbinger will pry it from their grasp. And when the Titans come to reclaim their prize, I will be waiting.
Oh, where did he go?
Did you see the portal? Yeah, you saw the elf.
Yeah.
Good work. Yeah.
There's a
Who do
lady
you
elf.
think that is?
Is it Xalatath?
We think it's Xalatath. It looks a lot. It could be Ashara or Xalatath, is what we're thinking. But Xalatath seems like the
Either of the two babes.
yeah.
I'm in.
So the really interesting idea for me is the idea, as Iridikron hints at there, that our timeline isn't actually the true timeline that the Titans are preserving.
Right.
So the Titans have always been like, we need to protect the true timeline and preserve the true timeline, and that has always been the whole point of the Bronze Dragonflight, right?
Yeah.
Was that, and because the Bronze Dragonflight, are our buddies and in our timeline, I think the assumption has always been that our timeline is the true timeline that we're fighting to preserve.
Yeah.
And this idea from Iridikron that maybe it's not, and that actually the Titans are using us, but the actual timeline that they're preserving is a different one and not ours.
Oh, okay.
Like, that is a really, really interesting idea.
Yeah, I like that.
to
Like,
me.
our world is just like a little insignificant.
Yeah. So I love the idea that all this time we've been doing what the Titans say to preserve the true timeline, but it's not actually our own timeline that we're helping to preserve. And that gives us a lot of freedom, because if it turns out like that's not the case,
are we going to murder the Titans?
well, we could be like, oh shit, well we need to not preserve the true timeline then for ours to carry on existing.
Yeah.
And then that means that a whole bunch of shit that we considered had to happen doesn't actually need to happen.
Ooh.
Like Murazond, for example, right? Stuff like that. I don't know. I think there's a lot of scope. I think it's actually really, I didn't see it coming, and it's actually a really clever little twist if it turns out to be true. I think if it turns out,
I like that. I like that, Tally.
like
I
really
it a
left
lot.
field. I really like it. So those are the two ones from the dungeon.
Nice.
But that's not the end of the cinematic.
There's more.
No, there is more. Mega Dungeon epilogue cutscene. Here we go.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Thank you, champion. Without you and Chronormu's bravery, I could not imagine what would have...
No Stormo? No Stormo!
Sound goes a bit funny as well.
everything. The clouds in my vision have parted, and I can breathe without doubt or despair. I feel alive again. Thanks to you.
Welcome to the Dragon Isles, explorers!
Iridikron escaped through a kind of void tear, taking Galakron's essence with him.
A void gate. His dark dealings have come to fruition.
It feels like he's leaving this war to his kin. His hatred for the Titans is all he cares about.
Nosdormu, can you perceive where he has gone?
He has passed beyond my sight.
Never mind those.
All I see now are burning embers encroaching upon...
Marithra must be warned. If Fyrakk leads their forces now, he will be vicious and strike where we are most vulnerable.
The World Tree.
Yes, as dangerous as he is. For now, we must leave Iridikron to his schemes and steel ourselves for whatever Fyrakk and Vyranoth are preparing to unleash. The defense of Amirdrassil comes first.
No matter what lies ahead, you were right, Chronormu. The future is worth fighting for.
Very cool.
It's cool.
Really.
Thank you, champion.
I love how he's like, the curtains have parted. My mind is clear. What do you see?
It's gone. Where's he gone?
I get it. It's just like
He's so shit.
Like, oh.
He doesn't know anything.
What's the deal with Amirdrassil?
Amirdrassil is the name of the tree.
The new tree.
Yeah, the new tree. It's the name of the. They name it for the first time. So again, loads of stuff in this cinematic. Like these cinematics and cutscenes have given us so much like kind of setup and story that the 10.1 stuff didn't, which is really cool.
Yeah.
The idea that explicitly it is a void gate that he went through, Iridikron.
Yeah.
With the essence of Galakron, which means, I don't know, but if I had to put some money on a final boss of the expansion right now, you could do a lot worse than Void Galakron.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
You're probably onto something.
Yeah, like Void Galakron would be a pretty interesting bet for final boss of this expansion. And also it means that, I think this is clearly setting up 10.2 as being a defending the world tree from Fyrakk and Vyranoth patch. I think, like, I've been saying for a while that I think the raid of 10.2 would be a defense of the world tree, right? And I think that's looking like very, very likely now. I think 10.2 is absolutely going to be defending the world tree. I don't think it will be 10.17. I think, we might start setting up in the Emerald Dream in 10.17, but I think the Emerald Dream and defending the tree and stuff will be a 10.2 thing for 100. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling at the moment. That's what I feel like, and I feel like Iridikron coming back will be 10.3 and dealing with that. And so many interesting things there, like the idea that we're not the true timeline, and maybe it would be okay to actually deviate from the true timeline.
Yeah.
I don't think we're looking at a Galakron expansion. No, I think we could, if Void Galakron and Iridikron is the end of this expansion, that leaves Void stuff open for next expansion, and like just opening out the cosmos a little bit.
Just a taste of the void.
Yeah, I think Iridikron will be the baddie of this expansion. But yeah, I feel like there's a roadmap in the plot right now. Vyranoth and Fyrakk are going to attack the tree. We're going to need to defend that. That feels like it's going to be 10.2. And then Iridikron is out with Xalatath or someone in the void with the essence of Galakron.
Yeah, baby BZ. We think it's Xalatath.
Yeah,
and that was the first thing I saw. I was like, who's that lady? Who's she?
That feels like 10.3 at the moment.
But
that's not the end of the cutscenes, Evie.
Oh.
No, there's another one. Another one. Yeah. Let's... this one's really... I don't think this one's so much of a reveal, but it is really fun.
I knew you would come. After you forced us into slumber in that Titan prison, you came to me. You heard me? Every word. You said it doesn't feel like a victory. Not without you. How could you say that? After everything, you were my dearest friend. And losing you to this conflict broke my heart.
You promised me you would not force the Titan's will upon us.
But the eggs, Alexstrasza.
You did nothing while your masters warped our children, still in the shell.
That abhorrent act should never have happened. And I regret my part in it every day.
Your lies have grown sweeter. Honey to hear. And poison to taste.
Vyranoth, you have always fought for the good of dragonkind. But Iridikron does not. Vengeance is all he craves.
Still so naive, Alexstrasza. Believing that the world we once shared still exists. It is gone. And so, yes, all that remains is vengeance.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't give two shits about Vyranoth before. Do you know what I mean? Like, but this gives her so much like character and like story right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think she's referring to something that will be kind of addressed in the book.
Oh, okay.
Quite a lot as well when that comes out in October, I think, something like that. What's really interesting there is like this idea that by the way, I love the opening shot where
so cool.
Alexstrasza's like breathing and her breath is like icy and she's like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, really good.
But like, I love the idea that the thing that really started the war was this idea that the aspects were like, yo, we're getting Titan empowered. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And like a bunch of dragons were like, we don't really want that. Mm-hmm. And they were like, hey, don't worry. This is opt-in.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. We can live together.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know,
side by
no
side.
one has to become empowered by the Titans unless they want it. And you feel like everything was okay at that point. And then the Titans were like, oh, look, some eggs. Let's Titan empower all of those. And like, you know, basically stole all the Incarnate's children from them and stuff like that. Yeah, so and that's what kind of kickstarted the war, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty good reason for having a war, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
However, personally, I think this cinematic or this cutscene is like the game's way of saying Vyranoth will not be coming back to our side. Like,
no. She's like, vengeance is on that side.
Yeah, she's like consumed by vengeance. She might have a point. She might have a good, but like there's no teaming up. There's no. I mean, I feel like they could still kind of throw a left field sort of in the raid, have her be like,
you know,
I've changed my mind. I'll help you against Fyrakk.
And when she dies, it will be very tragic and
yeah,
will
probably.
Be sad, but,
oh my god, are they actually going to do like an ice heart thing with her?
No.
That would be so funny because she is basically Iceheart.
A little bit. Right.
So like, if they have her dying in the same way, like Iceheart has one of the best deaths in video games in Final Fantasy.
Oh my god.
What expansion is that?
That was in Heavensward.
Yeah, best expansion. A great death in that, and like maybe if they kind of recreate that with Vyranoth, I'd be kind of into it. But I think one way or another, Vyranoth is not surviving this expansion. I don't know. I could easily. I'm happy to be wrong. Yeah. I'm happy to eat shit.
Are you happy to be wrong?
Yeah. Well, I feel like all of this is setting up Vyranoth and Fyrakk as being like a twin kind of threat.
Fire
in 10.2, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like they will be attacking the World Tree, and it'll be them that we're trying to stop from destroying the World Tree in 10.2. That's definitely why. And then Iridikron comes back with all voidy shit in 10.3. That's definitely how the kind of structure of it seems to be like. Sorry, did I just spoil Heavensward, the 2014 Final Fantasy 14 expansion for
the
you.
red bot is
really,
on.
really sorry.
I would say if the red spoiler bot is on, like all bets are off. Like any spoilers go. So
why do they give major lesbian ex-lover vibes? Because you can't see two hot women without picturing them doing the business. That's why.
No, and they're both so like they've got like strong woman energy. I love it. Yeah.
The entire novella is about their fight back before the War of the Ancients.
Nice.
So like, literally the cover of the novel is, and it's a full novel. I don't think it's a novella, but literally the cover is Alexstrasza and Vyranoth fighting. Like in dragon form. So I think the thing that they're describing there with the Titans kind of with no consent empowering the eggs, I think that will be a major event in the book. Because it's the thing that kickstarts the conflict, really.
Nice.
Yeah. I think Vyranoth's death would be just to make Alexstrasza sad and reevaluate a lot of what she believes, especially with the Titan eggs, the time ways, etc. Could be. It's always a bit of a bore when someone's death is only in something as like in service of another character. It's always, the kind of the cliche Hollywood thing is the action movie's wife dies, right? The action movie star's wife dies. Like that's their motivation. It's like you killed my wife, my whole family, vengeance, and that's like the cliche one. But it's a bit much, Vyranoth fridged, fitting.
Dear.
As players, do we give a shit about the Titans? It's funny because they've shown us like a good Titan in Tyr. Like Tyr has been shown to be generally just good through the Tyr hold kind of flashback quests in this expansion, but otherwise they really very much are setting up for the Titans are bad at the moment, like more and more explicitly, like all the time. I think
it's definitely coming through.
Well, Tyr was not a Titan, no. Tyr was a Watcher, but he represents the Titans on Azeroth. So but exactly, he's not a Titan. And Tyr was murdered, but not by the Titans. It's fun, it's funny. It's like Odin obviously is like probably more representative maybe of the Titans. I don't know. And he hates the dragon aspects as well, of course. Tyr's experiments are slightly questionable. Quite right. And maybe you can link that to the thing they're talking about with the eggs here for sure. Why is there always going to be a big bad boss person? We don't just have a peaceful expansion. I think you know why. I think it's because it's a video game and having like an antagonist is kind of important. But anyway, these cinematics, man, they set up some incredible like ideas.
They're really good. Really good. I really enjoyed them.
I love the idea that we perhaps aren't the true timeline, and the Titans have basically tricked us and are using us to help maintain a timeline that isn't even ours, and at some point we'll wipe ourselves from existence, sort of thing. Which is that when the game ends? Well, I feel like from the point of view of that video that we've been working on, Discordian Kitty, like the idea of we are working towards, is it right to maintain the true timeline? And we've got like examples of like where it feels kind of wrong to be maintaining the true timeline, and now this revelation that we might actually, in maintaining the true timeline, might come to a point where we kind of delete ourselves and like our own reality. And I love that. I love that as an idea. And honestly, if it's true, then I think it's the single best plot hook that WoW has had in like 3 expansions. Like, I feel like if it's true that we are not the true timeline, then I think that's the single best plot hook in WoW since Legion.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm really sold. Into it. Aren't the Titans more indifferent, which is perceived as evilishness? Yeah, the Titans, like it's like anything, right? Like an ant in your garden would perceive what is good and what is evil very differently from what you would perceive like true and evil. And we are basically ants to the Titans, right? So Titans and the light are basically squirrels. Yeah, they've just got better PR than rats, like the void rats, right?
Yeah. Oh, as much as I like the timeline hook in WoW, I have like fatigue by how prevalent it is in modern media. It is like now that Marvel's doing multiverse,
and what DC are doing it now as well in their movies. So yeah,
I mean that's that's just, I mean, WoW has always, to some degree, been, you know, it always rides like not the coattails, but it's just rides the zeitgeist of like what's in the culture, and that, you know, it reflects that.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't mind it because I'm enjoying it and it's quite fun. But yeah, I'm like, this multiverse.
Well, I see this as the Chromiverse patch. I still feel like they should call this patch Adventures in the Chromiverse. I think that would have been cool. You're misreading the implication. It's not that we're not the true timeline and there is another one. It's more that the true timeline is a matter of perspective and interest. Yeah, well, yeah, no. When I say the true timeline, that's only ever what the Titans consider to be the true timeline. Like, and when characters in game are like, yeah, the true timeline, it's always been the case that they're only talking about what the Titans consider to be the true timeline. Yeah, absolutely. But the implication has always been that timeline that we're referring to when we say the true timeline, yeah, it's the Titan true timeline, but also it is our timeline. Like, we are the true timeline.
Yeah.
Like, that's always been the implication, because, you know, like the Bronze Dragonflight in our timeline are the ones kind of helping the Titans and stuff. So if it turns out that our timeline isn't the one that the Titans consider the true timeline, and isn't the one that we have been helping to maintain all this time when we've been doing all of these time quests in the past, that's a major kind of like twist. Like, that's a huge twist. The idea that we're not like, we have been helping the Titans since, you know, at least Cataclysm, kind of maintain all these timelines. But Wrath even, with the Caverns of Time. But it turns out it's not our timeline that we've been talking about this whole time, and like, we're getting to a point where we're just going to like delete ourselves, void ourselves, right? And that's really interesting. That's super interesting, in my opinion. I think that's like a really good narrative hook. Was it BC, the Caverns of Time? Oh shit, man!
Dang.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. But when we say true timeline, yes, you're right. We always are talking about what the Titans consider the true timeline, but we've always thought that was us. And so if it's not us, then that's a major kind of twist, and a really good twist, a really interesting twist, a really cool twist that you can do lots of good story with. And like, if Iridikron is to be believed, and I hope he is because it's so interesting, what the Titans consider the true timeline isn't our timeline, and they are only even here until Azeroth is born, and then they're going to fuck off and like undo our timeline, which is like really interesting. I just think that's really cool. Could even see us, to protect our timeline at some point, teaming up with the Void in some shape or form. I don't know. Could there's no true timeline? Well, no, like, obviously, I think we're all of the opinion that the Titans might be a bit wrong about that now, and Dragonflight is very much kind of pushing this idea that, you know, it is only what the Titans consider to be the true timeline, right? All timelines are true. Oh well, now you sound like the Void. I'm just saying.